The Curse of Red Sonja, or Breaking the Curse. Anyway, this is a fantastic piece from the Hollywood Reporter. They have been on set. She is going to be donning her chainmail bikini. We're going to see an epic figure. Yeah, this is great, actually. So we're going to take a look at this. This is a bit of a deep dive into what is essentially a B movie, but I think will be really, really good fun. And there's a lot interesting in here from the previous director, basically being called a disaster, not competent. And that's Joey Soloway. It's full of like sexual politics and stuff like this, and that completely, went back to scratch on the script. This sounds great. This actually sounds great now. This is coming together nicely. Everything that they say in here fills me with much more confidence. So let's take a look, right? Again, this just confirms the chainmail bikini. So this is them on site. The site of the day's carnage is a small village half an hour by car from Sofia, capital of Bulgaria. And the grey skies, shire-like houses dot a lush green meadow. MJ Bassett, back hunched, ponytail swinging, tramps across the location for the shoot, which will recount a key moment in the origin story of Red Sonja, the voluptuous comic book heroine known to fans for rallying kinfolk to fight evil while clad in a signature chainmail bikini. And this is an interesting moment. Apparently the rain hardens Bassett with neither the time nor the budget to linger, so kind of, ramming home low budget. Sets up the scene. Pyrotechnics are fine. She tells an assistant director what really matters is emotional impact. She wants tight, close shots, the children's painful choices to be clear. Awesome. Good. So they say that, Red Sonja shooting at all is a major miracle. Because the fantasy epic set loosely in the world of Conan the Barbarian would wind up achieving the same B-grade aesthetic as its progenitor. And it's unclear when anyone will get to see it, given that the movie still lacks a US distributor. But none of that has stopped the buzz. I think this will do really well, actually. If anything, the cloak of uncertainty surrounding Red Sonja has helped spur an outsized interest in the movie. Or, people like women to be sexy and badasses at the same time, right? Maybe we don't want feminism rammed down our throat and a bit of sword and sandal. Maybe it's a bit of that. But anyway, multiple false starts, 9 scripts, 4 directors, 2 of them embroiled in Me Too scandals over a span of 2 decades. It has been long in the works. So let's check this out. With a budget somewhere in the mid-teens, tiny, Red Sonja is a lo-fi attempt to garner a box office hit for Lerner's Millennium Films, owned like New Boyana by his company New Image Entertainment, known primarily for pulpy, explosive-laden, fair-featuring aging action heroes. Millennium also has produced a few profitable franchises, including The Expendables and Has Fallen series, so Olympus, London, Angel. Red Sonja's longevity. The character has been around for more than 70 years and undergone a myriad of incarnations in comic and online forums, with no doubt the film giving a leg up in global markets, due in part to a hardcore fan base, but the deciding factor ultimately resides in the lanky 6-foot frame of MJ Bassett, a 50-something trans woman whose relationship, don't let that put you off by the way, whose relationship with Red Sonja dates to childhood, in her own story, in her own telling, borders on an obsession. So here's the interesting part, right? Here's the interesting part. So. This is where we go. So 2017, a sexual harassment lawsuit questions surrounding his ties to Russian oligarchs. Lerner has denied the charges detailed in the lawsuit, which was filed by a former employee and settled in 2018. So this is just about Lerner, the owner of Millennium, trying to reboot the property. Robert Rodriguez was all set to direct Rose McGowan as Sonja in 2010, before McGowan was injured and Lionsgate quietly backed out. More attempts followed as one prominent name after another was floated and then abandoned. Amber Heard, Sacha Baron Cohen were slated to appear in various roles before quietly slipping away. In 2018, Millennium hired writer-director Bryan Singer. We know what happened with him. And then when word of the allegations against Singer reached Sofia, where New Boyana is located and shooting would ultimately take place, protesters threatened to descend to the studio. Yariv Lerner, Avi's son and New Boyana CEO, the man effectively in charge of Red Sonja's production, pleaded with city officials to install speed bumps in front of the studio so that nobody would get run over if protesting escalated. So obviously, Singer got fired in 2019, And then you had Joey Soloway, like a they-them individual, who had just come out as non-binary and was dealing with the repercussions of a Me Too scandal themselves. For fuck's sake. Involving Transparent star Jeffrey Tambor. The actor was accused of sexually harassing 2 trans women on set. Allegations that he denies, but that partnership quickly soured as well. And here's the interesting part. A complete disaster, said one crew member with knowledge of Soloway's involvement. They just didn't feel competent to do the movie, says Yariv of Soloway, who nevertheless remains attached as an executive producer, so they're happy just to slate him. Soloway has a different explanation for the change of roles, saying that they were left to work on a documentary series inspired partly by research done in building the world for Red Sonja. I shifted into my producer role instead of directing when the timing shifted because I was journeying to the Fertile Crescent to uncover the erasure of divine feminine and Abraham's maternal line. By that point, Millennium had been trying to make Red Sonja for 15 years. Jesus. So long time. And then one day, Bassett sat down, slouched in a plush armchair at Spaghetti Company, a popular Sofia restaurant. She sipped an Aperol Spritz through a straw and basically was like, yep, cool. Here's the interesting element. I mean, this is all interesting, quite frankly. Really, really interesting. So she goes, I cursed every time they announced someone else, says MJ Bassett. I kept telling them, when you change again, let me know. In spring 2012, after Soloway's departure, Bassett sat down with Avi Lerner and she began explaining her vision for Sonja's journey when Lerner interrupted her and said, just make me a movie I can sell, he told her. So the original Red Sonja of Rogatino first appeared in a pulp magazine story by Robert E. Howard in 1934. Then was adapted as a Marvel character in 1973, and she was a big-breasted, wasp-waisted, scantily attired warrior, a woman of extremes. Over time, other threads emerged to complement her legend. One involved the Marvel character Wolverine, another placed her life in the future, and in one comic book version penned by Gail Simone, of course, Sonja was bisexual. So, Bassett, given carte blanche to do anything she wants. She was a blank canvas, Bassett says. The one constant was the chainmail bikini that had helped earn Sonja the title of sexiest woman in comics, according to Comic Buyer's Guide in 2011. It's preposterous, says Bassett. She became a character for prepubescent 13-year-olds that was never accessible beyond. So basically, she's in the bikini. Yeah. I mean, I loved it. For the record, Bassett's Red Sonja is keeping the chainmail bikini. So, yay to everyone that wants it to be comic accurate, at the very least, in that regard. So, we then have, obviously, Matilda Lutz, who's an Italian-American actress. I've interviewed her, actually, for her role in Revenge. And she reveals what she likes about Matilda Lutz. She goes, she's a beautiful, feisty, tough, committed young woman who people are going to want to watch, Bassett says. Apparently she gained 13 pounds of muscle for the role. That is actually impressive. I mean, that's nearly a stone. That's a UK measurement. Every day it's either climbing or horseback riding or fighting. As she understands, her Red Sonja is a woman alone in the world trying to survive in a very crazy environment. So Bassett's own script, which she rewrote half a dozen times, steers clear of sexual politics and gender. Curious and friendly in person, Bassett also is direct. I didn't warm to the previous script, this will be Soloway's, which was much more sexual politics, she says. Obviously in my personal life I'm interested in that, but as a storyteller, I don't think it's interesting. Fucking hell, someone gets it. God damn. She also eliminated a key plot point from the original 85 film, Sonja's rape by marauding enemies. I've no interest in fictional women who use rape as an engine for motivation. It's not a strong motivation. She's just a human being in the world of femininity. I love this. This is so good. So much better. God. Yes. This is so much better. The fact that she's just like, yeah, no, sexual politics, gender, no, I'm not, no, that's crap. That's boring as a storyteller. I'm not interested. Not interested in that. I'm done. No, it's boring. And then obviously there's some, other elements here which will kind of put you off the film, so I'm not really going to get into it. But, it's talking about Uh, well, actually, well, no, in fairness, she says she hasn't disavowed J.K. Rowling and retains fond memories of reading Harry Potter. So that'd actually make you warm to her, I guess. This is someone who's trans that isn't an activist. I can't even remember the thing that Rowling said, which is bad, she says, emphasising the air quotes. In public statements, Bassett has gone further. Mammalian biology is divided into male and female. It just is. You've got to love this person for that, surely. Trans, but just understands it. Non-menstruating humans. Bassett rolls her eyes. She knows stances like these will disturb some. I have friends who've been very much upset by what I've said publicly, but I have no doubt about the biology of it. It's nonsensical not to have biological woman as part of your vocabulary. So it won't really put you off of that much. But, you know, basically, with Red Sonja, Bassett wanted to steer clear of the obvious identity politics that audiences might expect her to bring to the table when telling a story about a female hero imprisoned by misogynistic portrayals for decades. But how do you make a movie about a powerful woman that has nothing to do with gender? It's an oxymoron, right? She acknowledges. Instead, she wants Red Sonja's journey to be an allegory for more existential questions around the survival of the species in the face of climate change. Interesting. Interesting avenue to go down. Not going to lie. Not going to lie. Don't know if I like that, but the rest of it's great. And again, there's just some more elements about new Boyena and stuff like that. It's not that great. But very, very interesting. You know, Red Sonja is filmed on location. Loads of sets, built to spec. It's Gladiator meets Lord of the Rings meets Spartacus. Pretty cool. I think this is going to be really good. And even new Boyena churns out commercial popcorn pulp with surprising success. They even say, we make a lot of shitty movies. Yariv says, heading towards the cafe for a lunch prepared. Just like, yeah, we make shit movies. We make a lot of good movies too, but nobody watches them because they're art movies. I really like the fact they're just honest. Yeah, we don't want any shitty identity politics. But yeah, we do make some shit movies here and there. We do make some good ones, but yeah, pretty shit ones as well. I think this sounds really, really good. I think this sounds really, really good. Matilda Lutz picks up an axe and Bassett scoots in to adjust the scene before retreating to her chair. Action! I think this sounds so good. No gender and identity politics. Love it. From a trans person as well. Love it.